1 elephant, 2 elephant, 3 elephant, 4 elephant, red leather, yellow leather, red leather, yellow leather. All right, what are we doing, boys?
Well, we're three guys.
We were chatting.
and then that red light came on and we all went brr. Or you went brr.
This is a real awkward time in my statement.
Yeah.
To hit record.
it's all good because that's what we're all about. Awkward silence and hopefully some good whiskey. So
yeah, well, you hired me to fill the awkward silence.
Awkward whiskey and good silence.
Yeah.
So hey, Germ's prompt to open up today's episode was let's all drink something we haven't had in a while.
That would have been Randall.
That would have been me, but it's fine.
Oh, sorry. Jeez.
Man, he's throwing you under the bus.
I'm giving Randall absolutely no credit this week. I apologize.
No street cred at all.
So I picked out the McCarthy's Cognac cask number 351. So the story behind this was the cask is a French oak cask. So again, this is a McCarthy's that had something other than Garyana involved. Made by an unnamed artisan, has been used to age brandy for the past 45 years in the heart of the Champagne and Cognac regions. We're immensely proud to see our whiskey finished in this cask, as so many fine spirits have seen before. And this is a 6-year-old. So Cognac cask McCarthy's. And this is one of the bottles. Picking out what's a bottle I haven't had in a while is easy when you look at the layer of dust on everything.
Yeah, absolutely.
And how long has it been since you've had that?
So actually, this was given to me as a Christmas gift by Joseph O'Sullivan in Christmas 2022. And I have not had it since the first half of 2023, I think.
Okay. So
it's been
pretty good. Time. Yeah, a little bit. You want me to go next?
Yeah, you go next there, sir.
I actually have a twofold. We had talked off camera. Oh, yeah, well, you know how I am. We had talked off camera about, I was thinking about which ones I wanted to pick. And one of them that I never had gone back to since I did the podcast with them was 10th Mountain. Well, I decided 45%. When I tasted it, it didn't really fit my profile. So what I did is I made an old fashioned out of it. And that's what I'm sipping on. But I did bring another bottle that I literally haven't opened since probably at least 23. And that is none other than the Cole Keegan Cask Strength. This one, I can't even tell you what the batch is. It's an old batch. Yeah. So I'm going to open this as well, if the cork will let me. And then we'll see how I know it was a fantastic bottle. You know what, when you have so many whiskeys, it's hard to dip back into them. And I think that's one of the reasons we wanted to do that was because, hey, there's some good bottle. And this one has, probably that much left in it. And I need to finish it. I need to get it sampled out to somebody or something. But yeah, you're talking about layers of dust. We got it on this one too.
So, and that, you talking there brought up a really good point for everybody. Guys, don't be afraid to explore with your whiskeys. It doesn't always have to be drank neat.
Right.
If you like a bottle neat, you're probably going to like it in a cocktail. Make it whatever kind of cocktail you want.
Or even
malts make excellent rusty nails. American single malts make excellent Godfathers. Anything
penicillin. McCarthy's made an excellent
penicillin. For a single malt in the recipe, an American single malt can make an excellent one of those. So Randall made an old fashioned with a single malt. Nothing wrong with that at all. It's perfect.
And it's pretty tasty.
There you go.
Especially the oak forward. I know that's not the choice you made here, but especially the oak forward American single malts make a really good old fashioned. Like these old lines that I have from I haven't released that episode yet, but from the episode that I did with Kitsap Whiskey Society. Real oak forward, they're real tasty whiskeys, but it's like my style of malt is usually a lot less oaky. But I am I'm enjoying those, and I'm really going to enjoy them in cocktails, I think.
Yeah, absolutely.
So don't be afraid to play around with them. Water, ice, cocktails, run it through a soda stream, whatever. Play around with it.
Yeah.
That you bought the bottle, you're allowed to do whatever you want with it.
Blend your whiskeys together.
Yep. That too. That's fun too.
Which Phil and I have made a habit of doing, especially when we have blenders on our show, just to torture them and blending their whiskeys together in front of them.
You're just like, mad scientist over here.
Oh, it's too late. You already did.
Yeah. You're screwing it up.
So I really like the idea, Randall, of having a dram on the show that you haven't had in a while, and it didn't take me more than about 10 seconds to come up with which one I wanted. I knew right off the bat, and I haven't had it for 2 years plus, and I loved it up on, every time I've had it. And I just, it gets into the back of the cabinet and you just kind of forget about it.
Mm-hmm.
So there it's been sitting for a while, collecting the dust, and I broke it out, and I'm really thrilled about it because I love this whiskey. I'm drinking the Hill Rock Estates single malt. Hill Rock Estates, for those of you who don't know, in Upper New York, they are one of the very few distilleries in America that does floor malting. They do their own smoking. They grow the stuff right there on the farm.
Wow.
Floor malt it and distill it all in one parcel of land, and it's fantastic whiskey.
That's really cool.
It's good that it's fantastic because that is an expensive way to make whiskey, and it's nice when
it's not a cheap bottle either. If you guys have not looked up this, do not get sticker shock. It is not a cheap bottle. For what
Noted.
it is. But
is it available though? Can you still?
It's very available. Yep. Actually, I was just doing some shopping the other day on Big Thirst, and they have it on Big Thirst.
Oh, really?
Nice.
Not sponsored.
Yeah, our friend Matt McGinnis over at Big Thirst.
Yeah. BigThirst.com.
Yeah. Hey, so I guess we might as well open up the episode by saying, like, we are in bottles on our barrel picks.
Mm-hmm.
Yes,
it's not going to be Big Thirst though. We're instead letting the distillery use their usual retail partner, which I forget the name, but they're based in Texas. But the important thing is they'll ship to most places.
I like
the way we're going to be.
We're letting them because we had so much.
We had a choice.
It's not that. Well, there were a few options.
There were.
And looking at the options, most of them involved us buying all the like if we didn't sell, we had to buy the rest. This was the option that let us. We'll get to open up a pre-sale period. I don't have links or anything yet, and I'll get them out as soon as we do. But what's going to happen is we're going to open up a pre-sale period. It's going to be some length of time, maybe a month or something like that, where everybody who wants bottles can say, I want to buy this bottle. Now, the downside is you're going to say, I want to buy this bottle, and you're not going to get it for a month plus. But it means that they're only going to sell as many bottles as people actually order. We're hoping we sell out of the Schmilky Way, which is cask number.
You want to put that sticker
45.
on your tab?
Yep.
Pull up the right tab.
Hold on. Yes, I will. There we go. So we're going to put this sticker on the bottle, and whatever barrel number that was, this was the one that we thought tasted like high quality, handmade Milky Way imitation candy.
Yes. This is
it's
barrel
really
number
tasty.
45.
Barrel number 45. That's what I thought. I just didn't want to say it without being sure. So barrel number 45, there were 36 bottles total. So this one is going to be extremely limited. And then the other one is we're calling Raisin Dram, which is the port cask finished large batch, and we're going to be capped at 120 bottles on that. There will be more bottles of that will probably go out with a different club through possibly the same retailer, maybe at a different age, who knows. But for us, with this tater sticker on it, it's going to be capped at 120 bottles. So relatively
the other
limited.
clubs are not us, so these are the ones that you want to buy. Make sure you
Absolutely.
get
That's right.
Raisin
That's
Dram
right. Buy
and
these
the
ones.
Schmilky Way stickers. These are the ones that you want.
Yeah, Raisin Dram and Schmilky Way.
Yes.
In case you needed those. And thank you to Gemini and ChatGPT for helping us with these stickers.
Yeah.
Credit where credit is due, right?
They're so stupid, but they're so good.
I love the fact. I love this guy in
Dram
here.
was
It's like
good.
it's like a Wookiee or a sloth or something inside a spacesuit holding a Glencairn just open to outer
This whole
space.
this whole sticker is fantastic. There is so many
just
good
so
things
stupid.
happening in here.
We've got a wisdom glass rocket,
Yeah. And then
I
a
love
spherical
that.
barrel.
Yeah, a barrel, like whatever. It's cool.
Hey, look, it's even got barrel rings.
Yeah, I mean, it's that whole situation is perfect. So
Normally, I would say no, we're not doing AI, but this came out so good. I was just like,
it really did.
no, we gotta. And
yeah, no, you couldn't have got a better
No.
hit than that one. The dude in the spacesuit is top.
The
it's
Raisin
fun.
Dram was relatively less inspired, but
Right.
Well,
but
okay,
still.
so we all said it tasted like Raisin Bran cereal. Obviously, we can't call it Raisin Bran because we'll get hit. Well, I mean, we probably wouldn't, but the
But,
chance of getting hit with trademark infringement is there. But Raisin Dram, I thought that was a excellent name.
Yeah.
For the bottle. So yeah, that worked out well.
Yep. So get your credit cards ready. Oh yes, by the way, I don't have final retail price on these, but I was told they'll be about $65 each, and we're putting no markup on them.
Right.
So we're selling them at cost.
Sweet.
For the love of the game, no profit.
Absolutely. But you're on the next one, watch out. They're gonna be $1 million a piece.
We're gonna scalp you.
Yeah. Yeah. They are gonna be hot on the secondary for about $3,000 a piece.
Yeah.
No, actually, I would be really upset if I saw one of my picks on the secondary market for
that'd be a real bummer, huh?
I would be mad. I would be mad.
Yeah.
Well, all right. So that's our business
Yes.
news, so to speak.
So yes, guys, as soon as we get the info for the pre-sale link, you all will have it very shortly afterwards. And don't sleep on it because Barrel 45 is going to go fast.
Yeah.
I think just word of mouth right now, I'm pretty sure it's gone plus 10. Like it's at quantity -10.
Yeah.
So
for what it's worth, both barrels are good in very different ways.
Right.
So it's not like you're going to miss out.
No.
I mean, you're going to be missing out on one of two, but
and for me personally, if I see I know how many bottles I want of that right off the bat. If I see that the pre-sale is sold out and I have my quantity, I'm going to chop my quantity so other people can get a chance.
Absolutely.
Same.
Absolutely.
Same. Yeah. And we're going to work with the retailer to make sure we know about that too.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. Cool. Hey, we're like 12 minutes in. Have we done the title card yet?
No.
Oh,
hey.
Yeah, we are.
Hey, we're the three guys, and the one grain still hasn't shown up, so I don't even.
So yeah. Anyways, welcome to episode 6, guys. Sometimes I have to be reminded that I actually.
Hey, that's good. We had a good opening segment. That's fine. That's fine. It's like, how like they used to have TV shows used to have like the opening act teaser, and it would be like a real strict like 30 seconds of like, oh, bad thing happened, and then it's the intro sequence, and then every once in a while that intro would go on for like 3-4 minutes. And you're like, what's going on?
Yeah.
And now modern TV, like they literally put the title sequence 20 minutes into the 45-minute episode on Netflix. Like, what are you doing?
So that's what we did.
Builds the drama.
That's what we did.
Builds the drama.
Yeah.
That's what we wanted to do. We were building
Suspense.
drama.
We're all suspense here.
It's like at that point you're in the story, and then they're like, oh wait, we forgot. Here's the title card. You're like, what?
You're
What just
watching
happened?
this. That's not even the show I was watching. What the heck happened?
What happened?
Yeah.
Apparently I'm not still watching. All right. So what do we got to talk about today? We got a couple little things of news.
Yeah.
Doug, kick it off. Virginia
I've been
Distillery.
talking a lot already. Maybe we let Randall go first.
Oh
right.
gosh, you don't want me to go first.
Oh,
So,
okay. I won't put you on the spot. If
Randall's
you don't
got Randall's got secret news. I don't even know what this
I've
is
got-
yet. He hasn't
I've got
told me.
secret news. So we talked about this earlier. I don't know if it's full news since they're not making ASM, and I was told wrong. Yeah. So one of the
We're off to a great start.
whatever, it's fine. The news I get is not your news. Whatever, I guess. It's not what they're feeding me. Anyway, 2026 is the first full cycle of awards after the official TTB recognition in 2025 for ASM. Categories now are clearly identified. 100% malted bar, the U.S. made grain. Why does this matter? Right? Because now we're getting legally certified, American single malts that are winning awards. And that I know awards shouldn't matter, but that is a big deal when you look at the broad scope of the world. It is a big deal. And so
we're not talking about like we have to wait for 2026 to be done for this. Like we've seen a full year now.
Right.
So awards are coming out.
Right.
Yes.
And so for Virginia Distilling has won for a toasted barrel finished expression. Boulder Spirits had won for a new American, what they call the New American Single Malt, which is aged in New American oak. You know, we're like kind of past that experimental phase of American Single Malt, and we're now entering into like a legitimacy, right? It's a legitimate thing, and we're doing things. And I have the one that won right here. This is coming to y'all very soon, but
oh yeah,
this is the Hinterhaus Singularity. This won Single Malt of the Year at the World Whiskey Awards. And as you can tell, I've already sampled it out for these guys. But you know what? Life gets in the way. You know, a lot of times I meant to send this out like 2 weeks ago. I've had it for a minute. Meant to send it out like 2 weeks ago, and I sat here and did the thing, and I didn't do it. And then it's on my desk right now. It's going out this week. So by the next show, we'll be sipping on this, hopefully. But anyway, so just like, and Hinterhaus isn't a huge brand. So it's one of those things where any American single malt out there can win. And it's just, I don't know. I feel like personally it raises the entire category.
Absolutely. And like well-deserved brand that like really needs more attention.
Yeah,
They make excellent stuff. It's like one of the best brands you've never heard of.
Right. Exactly. I agree. And they don't care about age statements. They don't care about, you know, doing it any other way than the way they do it, which I'm all about, right? Like, because there's a lot of brands out there that are trying to get, you know, this age statement, and they have to do it a certain way, very much like bourbon, right? And American Single Malt doesn't have to play with those things. So, and then one of the cool things what happened in late March, right? This is building momentum for the rest of 2026, and stop me if I'm on the wrong spot, but Scotch whiskeys in the awards category as well. Scotch whiskeys are doing fantastic. They're winning award left and right. Now, how does that help American Single Malt? Because it's 100% malted barley, right? So these scotches that are winning, it's uplifting that category, which in turn is uplifting American Single Malt as well. Because people are like, you know, with tariffs and things, we don't talk about that on this show, but with those things, it's harder to get some of those bottles in America. So you find something similar to it, like when Lost Lantern did the Scotch Lovers collection, you could have found any one of those bottles to be comparable to some Highlands, Lowlands, even Isla scotches. And the fact that they're, you know, we're now competing. I put myself in the category of American Single Malt, competing on the world stage, right? So it turns it into, we're not just the guys over here. We're a brewery, and yeah, we make some whiskey. We are now doing a thing, and it's a big thing. So
yeah. Also, I think it's legit for us to group ourselves in with American Single Malt whiskey as a category.
I would hope so.
I think that's okay. We have a podcast whose entire purpose is to talk about American Single Malt whiskey.
I mean, you know, and
I don't know about you. I've been an advocate for a hot minute, three years or so.
Yeah, I mean, as soon as I figured out what it, you know, because when you come up into whiskey, and this would be my rant, I guess, for the night. When you come up into whiskey, and you're first getting started, you always try bourbons and ryes and stuff like that, and you're like, yeah, this is good, this is great, and then somebody hands you a smoky scotch, and you're like, you either love it or hate it, right? It's kind of like one of those things. You're like, or yes. And luckily for, I think, all of us, we enjoyed it quite a bit. But then it's like, okay, I want to find something closer to home. And so then we all of us on this screen right now have distilleries that make absolutely fantastic American single malts really close to us. So it is so cool to see that we don't have to go all the way to Scotland or Ireland or you know, Cotswolds or whatever you want to call it. So it's just really cool that that's kind of in our backyard, and almost every state, you know, has a brewery that's making some whiskey or something like that. So it's really cool just to go out there and try new things. Now, not all of them are going to be great. I understand that, but give it a try. That's all I can say. So,
all right. So that thing, right? The American single malt whiskey is so rooted in breweries, right?
It is.
Brewing traditions, making a good wash. And it's just like, wow, beer is so close to whiskey. I mean, when I first learned about what whiskey was, it was kind of described to me as like, well, if you make wine and then you distill that, it becomes brandy. If you make beer and then you distill that, it becomes whiskey, except there's some technicalities like beer has hops and whiskey's not supposed to have hops and yada yada yada. And that's a whole topic we've debated before, so we can leave that rant off. I think there's two major philosophies of, yeah, thank you. I saved you a rant. There's, I think, two major philosophies around making something that ends up being an American single malt. One is the obvious. I am a brewer. I think I make good beer, especially beer that's made from 100% malted barley, which isn't all of them.
No.
I want to distill that into a whiskey because why not? People like whiskey. Yeah. And then those breweries, sometimes they'll keep the hops in, sometimes not. Sometimes they'll do all kinds of things, like they've got rye or wheat or whatever in those whiskeys. They're not really trying too hard. They're basically saying, I have a great beer recipe. I want to make that into a great whiskey. Mm-hmm. Some of that happens to be American single malt. And then on the other side, you have the people who are like Ireland, Scotland, Australia, Japan, India. Everybody else is making American single malt. Why the heck is America? Why the heck is the United States of America not making American single malt when we make so much other whiskey? And then they say, okay, let's hop in on that tradition. And oh, by the way, we have a great craft brewing culture here, so let's hire some really good brewers to make the wash. But either way, you get brewers in the equation most of the time.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, whiskey is what beer wants to be when it grows up.
Yes. Yeah. Don't you have a shirt that says that?
I do have a shirt that says that.
And the last thing that was on my list, I have a bunch more, but I won't bore you with the details of it. I just saw, and somebody saw this at the liquor store, that Bullet American Single Malt now has a mesquited version, and I'm tempted to pick it up because that's fine. Like do that. What that does is just kind of lifts up the category a little bit. But now I feel like that now that American Single Malt has a foothold in the whiskey world, other people are taking notice and they're like, oh, they're doing that thing. We're going to try that as well and see if it works for us. And I'm all for, and we did talk about this last time, I'm all for the bigger brands going in there and trying to make American Single Malt. But what I'm not in for is for them to make a very crappy American Single Malt and put no back into it and no heart into it. They just create a product just to create a product. That to me is not doing the category any favors. But I am all for the big guys. If you're going to do it well, and because we're going to call you out on it. Obviously, we are not ashamed to call you out. If it sucks, it sucks. And we will
at the very least have the bravery to put your name on it. If it's good enough to put your name behind it, unlike Cough, Claremont Steep.
Yeah. Cough.
So I'm 100% with you, Randall. And I will be the first to say that I cannot stand the big brands making American Single Malt. Because one, I think they purposefully try to make them bad so that they ruin the category. I think that was a play. I don't think it worked out to their advantage. But I will say this, that Bullet Single Malt, not the mesquited one, the regular one, very, very pleasantly surprised with that one. I was happy with it. I thought it was a very good whiskey. I went into it with very low expectations, and they exceeded it incredibly well, because I don't like the Bullet whiskey.
What's
bourbon
the price point on the Bullet ASM? Isn't it like
it was like $65?
Yeah.
So that's okay.
It's right in
there. It's
not
awesome, but it's okay.
Yeah.
Well, realistically, where do you pay less for single malt?
I mean, right? We've done our list of low price ones. There's not many. That's true.
Right.
You've got your
$60 segue. You've got your Cedar Ridge Solera edition.
Yes, which is another topic. Cedar Ridge, for everybody that knows, Cedar Ridge, the old 92. That was the Solera vat, right? They made the whiskeys, they aged some of the whiskeys, they dumped them into the Solera, they emptied the Solera 50%, bottled it, refilled the Solera, did it again, and each time they did that as a batch. So you can count your batch numbers up. There is flavor drift if you get a batch 5 and try it versus a batch 13, 15. You will notice a difference. There is a difference in the flavor of those whiskeys. A batch 12 to a batch 13, not so much flavor drift. But
it's always quintessential, so it's always good.
Right. The one thing we have been asking for as fans of that whiskey is give us a little bit more proof. They bottle it at 92 proof, 46%. Not that that's bad. It's great. I love that. I love that proof. It's very Scotch-like. But it would be really cool to see a cask strength version of that Solera blend, right? If you've ever done the tour at Cedar Ridge and had a very lucky experience, you've gotten to try the cask strength version of the Solera stuff, because you get it out of there.
Right out the vat.
Right out of the vat. It does not go into a bottle that way. But they have now announced they are changing their regular Quintessential. It is now going to be called the Solera Edition. And I got to refer to my notes. It is, yes, the Solera Edition is the name. They have bumped the proof. It's now 47, so 94 proof. So it went up by 2 proof points, or 1%.
Yep. 47 is a real good number. We like that in Scotch.
Yeah, that's great. Other than that, the name has changed. So obviously the label is going to be very, very similar. It will say Solera Edition on it. There will be a hangy tag on it. The proof will be up from 92 to 94. This will say 94 instead. Batch number is still going to keep going. We're not going to start over on a new batch number. So what I did notice is the first bottles of this is going to be batch 18, which tracks. And the label is going to tell you, the label and the hang tag is going to tell you all about the entire process of getting that from distilling to bottling and what it went through for that. So
when I got my media sample of the 92 proof Solera vat, it came with either a hang tag or a little booklet that did explain the process.
It did.
Is that not part of the normal retail?
It's so it was. It is. Okay. It stopped.
Oh, so it was, and then they stopped, and they're bringing it back.
Very early batches had it. So like 5, 6, 7 are the batches
the
that
batch
I
had was like batch
know.
12, I think.
Okay, so that may have been a media thing that had that.
Okay.
But subsequent batches that I bought now, I have heard from liquor store owners they hate the hang tags. They hate them.
Yeah, that's fair.
So they may have pulled them, or not put them on.
As a consumer, I kind of hate the hang tags, right? They get in the way.
I love
the information, and I don't want to throw them away, and I don't want to remove them. I don't want to separate them from the bottle, because then I'm going to lose them.
Right.
But like,
they go.
They don't look the best on the shelf, and they're kind of in the way when you want to pull things out.
Yeah.
So to your point, though, they're not. It's not just the hang tag. They're adding more information to the front label.
The label will have more information on it. The hang tag will have good information on it. So yeah, you're going to get to know a little bit more intimate details about what it's actually happening to make it to the bottle from there.
We didn't actually get a cola label for that, right? They actually just announced that on their Instagram.
Correct, because I don't think they had to reapply. Because all they did,
even though the actual appearance of the front label was a bit different.
Right, because of how this is set up, I believe they didn't have to reapply, because it's the same whiskey with just a refresh on the label. The information is still basically the same.
Oh, right. I think there's a part of the cola thing where like you can make the same, it's the same product, but we're doing a label refresh, so it's not a new submission. It's just a, hey, make sure this is still cool.
Right.
And since it's like only 2 proof points higher, it's not that big of a deal. If it was like 20 proof points higher, it'd be
my guess different. Is they had an open proof point because they don't know where that specifically was going to be. I mean, obviously they proof it to what they want to proof it to put it in the bottle. But I'm thinking they probably left that with a little bit more of a placeholder on the proof than they did a specific number.
Got it. Yeah, because I would bet that proof number was not a target of the product definition, right? The Solera concept was the target. So I've seen this label, and the thing that actually makes me most excited about it is the fact that I feel like the brand billing of Solera Edition makes it much more obvious to say what product you're talking about when you're recommending a product to somebody who's asking, hey, like, what's a good American single malt at XYZ price point? And when we're talking about low price American single malts, the Quintessential, the 92 proof, the normal standard one,
The regular old Quint. Yeah.
The Solera, it's a Solera cask. You'll understand when you see. No, we're done with that. Now we
have a name.
Quintessential Solera edition. That
Yes.
is so much easier to tell people about.
Yes, I agree. I do like the ease of describing what that is to somebody asking the question.
Yeah. Yep, absolutely.
And
This
realistically,
whiskey,
that is a number one or number 2 recommendation for anybody asking what's a good American single malt to get. Always
forget about price
on the list. No,
forget about price. It's just
I don't even talk about price.
Top of the list. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But as long as we're talking about low price American single malts, that's obviously one.
Yeah. Virginia offers some.
Stranahan's Blue Peak, $45. Anything from VDC that's not part of Courage and Conviction is basically $45 and less.
Mm-hmm.
The great, like we talked with Amanda Beckwith a little bit about how they were pulling that off. Some of it was off the record. I still don't get it. Like even the whole loss leader mentality and the economy of scale, it is mind boggling that they can release so many different products below $45.
Right.
Mm-hmm. Hey,
one thing that helps in defense of 700 milliliter bottles, they are able to be in domestic and international markets without having a different bottling line, without having a different labeling, without blah, blah, blah. Like that actually, like people don't get how much money that saves for a business.
Mm-hmm.
Well, yeah. And do we see the savings? No, not necessarily. No. We don't.
But it's not, the key is not the 50 milliliter shrinkflation. The key is the business made their business way more sustainable. Businesses be doing a business.
And they can expand their business, which then scale happens, right? And then prices can come down because scale happens.
Exactly.
Yeah. That 50 milliliters that we lost, yeah, I mean, realistically, over the course of a whole bottle pour, you dribble 50 milliliters out because you've spilled it.
That's right. Mm-hmm. Pour better. Also, don't forget to close your corks. Anybody else left your bottle open overnight because you're an idiot?
I mean,
not me. I've never done that.
No. But yeah. So Cedar Ridge, and realistically, guys, start looking for that stuff on the shelf now. The Solera edition, you can start looking for it on the shelf now.
Yeah, and distribution on it is pretty good, right?
Yeah, distribution on the regular Quintessential is very good. Yes.
Yeah.
Yep. All right, so we did not coordinate on this ahead of time, but people are going to definitely accuse us of being Cedar Ridge shills, especially when they see what we have planned for later in the year.
Yeah.
That's okay.
But one of my bits of news was also a Cedar Ridge, and I don't have a slide for this one, so you don't need to put this up, Germ. But so, Cedar Ridge launched a quarterly club. People were cautious at first and like wanted to see what it would look like because Cedar Ridge to date has the Solera edition, and they have a couple annual special releases. And people were thinking like, and lots of single casks. And so people are thinking like, okay, are we going to see a Quintessential club or are we going to see a Cedar Ridge club? And if it's a Cedar Ridge club, okay, we're going to include some bourbon and other products in there probably. Wine? I don't know. I forget actually. Do you remember the name of the club? Totally forgot
the Backpack Club, I think.
The Backpack.
Yeah.
But either way, it's a quarterly club, just like Westward has a quarterly club. Just like VDC has the Courage Club. Catoctin Creek has their club. Lots of whiskey brands are doing this club concept now. Mm-hmm. In like the reason they're doing this, which I think is interesting context from a business perspective. This is not strictly confirmed, but this is how things work. When you have people signed up for a subscription, no extra costs. This isn't a luxury thing. It's not that. It's the fact that they know that once you've signed up for something, 99% likely, unless you cancel out of the club entirely, and people are sticky on that too, you're not going to skip bottles. You're going to get every single one of those bottles. You've made a commitment, and maybe they a little bit deliberately make it hard to cancel or get out, skip or get out of the club. Maybe some of them, and I've heard stories, and I'm not going to name names, like which clubs these happen to be. And it's not necessarily American Single Malt only or at all.
Right.
But there's a lot of clubs out there. American Single Malt clubs, relatively small in number, but we're seeing the maturing of the category. Mm-hmm. And along with it, we're seeing brands that make American Single Malt start these clubs. The point for them is knowing they have a market for a certain number of bottles every quarter. And that helps them expand the business and keep costs down, even if you're not necessarily seeing that savings.
Right.
So some clubs, like there's a Seal Box club that you could sign up for that lets you get free. You pay like $300 a year now or something, and you get free shipping on anything you order, right? Like those are like, it's incentive, like give us money to make a commitment that you're going to shop with us more because you want to make that money worth it. But that's not what these whiskey clubs are by and large. Because people knew about that Seal Box thing and some other types of things that look like that, they saw on the website for the Cedar Ridge Club, it's $100 to sign up. And they got a little confused and people started saying like, oh, it costs $100 just to join. And then it's the cost of the bottles. And I checked out, I was like, there's no way that's true. Right. I know Murphy would not have intended to set up the club that way, but I went to the website and I checked it out and I was like, you know what? It's actually not abundantly clear what the pricing is here. So I reached out to Murphy and got a statement. So here's what's going on. It's what you think it should be. It's every quarter. It's the cost of the bottle, it plus tax plus shipping. Simple as. You can add more bottles if you want. If they're just telling you that if you join now, the first quarterly bottle is a $100 Quintessential. That's what's going on there. The price of the club will vary between $60 and $100 per quarter. This is a statement from Murph. The subscription will be anywhere between $60 and $100 per quarter, depending on which bottle we release. The only cost is the cost of the bottle plus tax and shipping. For example, if we come out with a Quintessential special release, that's $100 for the quarter plus tax and shipping. If we release a new cask finished bourbon, that would likely be $60 for the quarter.
Or 70 or 80 or
right.
Anywhere in between.
Right. So that's the information that you didn't have yet, is that the actual price of the actual price of the backpack club will be variable between $60 and $100, but you're not paying anything extra. You're paying what you would have paid anyway if you went and bought on their store.
And
but you're getting early access to some stuff.
Yeah, okay, yes. I think you're getting early access, and I think there is going to be exclusive bottles to that club only. Like you can't go to the distillery, you can't buy this online. You have to be in the club in order to get this bottle. And I think that's where some of the draw is going to be to a good majority of people joining the club. Right. I'm going to have a bottle that nobody else can have unless they're in the club.
And that brings me to this bottle right here. And this is the Andalusia Whiskey Club. And it is the same thing. It is a quarterly thing. And you actually can pick, there's two different options you can pick. And I think they ship almost nationwide, but you can pick one bottle or two bottles. And it's anywhere, but I think it's $50 for the first one plus shipping and stuff like that, or $100 for two. And the one that I have in my hand right now is a 6.25-year-old American Single Malt. The first one that they've ever at that age statement released. They've had some at 5 and stuff like that. And this one is not smoked. It's in used casking. So it's the traditional way you would do an American Single Malt. This is coming to you too, guys. Sorry. And this is just in their release category. And it's just some really cool stuff that they're doing, along with their other stuff that they're releasing. You know, Polidoro and stuff like that will not be in here. It'll just be a special release that you can buy. But if you're a club member, they will hold, and like for me, I live in Texas, right? So they can't ship within the state of Texas because, you know, laws.
So you got to truck yourself over there.
I have woe is me, right? So I go over there.
20 minutes.
Yeah, exactly. It's 45. Excuse you, but so I go
Texas
over there.
is big, okay? It's just between Austin and the next city over, but that's a long ass distance.
It really is. So you can add a bottle, and it's a very much discounted price if you're already a club member. So you're able to add a bottle. Say this would normally on the shelf be an $80 bottle. You could add it for like 40, something like that if you wanted to.
Yeah.
So it's really cool to do that because, you know, I mean, why wouldn't you? But the issue is, and this is one of the things, hold on. Let me put it back before I drop it. This is one of the things that I have a show coming out very soon talking about things that I don't care about in the whiskey community. Anyway, it's a long story, but one of the things that gets me is with these clubs, and this is my soapbox again. I'm having the rants tonight. Great. When you get into these clubs and you're talking about, you're not just going to cancel them. You're not just going to do that. Next thing you know, you have 7 bottles shipping at the same time and they're all showing up at the same time and coming out of your account at the same time. So my thing is I would like to have them staggered a little bit, not
Yep.
April of every year they come out, because then in April I've got $500 of whiskey coming out and I know it. At least Lost Lantern is consistent. Every month it's the same amount.
Yeah, they're consistent because they're out every month, no matter who staggers, they're on the same month.
Every week I'm like, why is there more Lost Lantern at my house? Anyway, it's all great stuff, guys. But
my wife had words with me about Lost Lantern a few months ago.
It's a thing. It's a thing. But the whole thing is, like, I love the clubs and I'm happy for them. But at the same time, like, you have to know when you're like, okay, maybe I need to chill on this. And like you were saying, it's hard to get out of these clubs. Like, I'm a member of the Virginia Distilling Club, and this was their special release bottle, the Spanish Oak. This one, they actually raised the price of the club membership to get you this bottle, which kind of like the Cedar Ridge one. This was a $180 bottle just by itself. And I'm like, it's a great bottle. Don't get me wrong. For a VDC, that I'm like, it's a 7-year-old product. So it's great. But like, man, that gets a little pricey. Right. Yeah. And so when they raise the rates up and down, it's kind of hard to budget, I guess I would say, with all that. So when you have
variable rates are very difficult.
But if you know it's going to cap at something, then it's fine. And they did I will tell you this, Virginia did email everybody in the club and say, hey, this release is going to be more expensive. Here's how much more expensive it's going to be. Okay. If you want to opt out of it, you can. So of course I didn't, because I'm a dummy. Well, not I'm a dummy. I wanted the bottle, but
you made the right call. You got it. Right?
I think you made the right call. That's probably
I did make the right call. But what it makes me want to do, or not makes me want to do, what I'm going to have to do is I'm going to have to put it on pause for a little bit, because my Virginia distilling is coming out into other places where it doesn't need to be. And like, I'm like, okay, I need to hold off on that. Let's move into something else, because
I'm with you. My situation on my VDC shelf technically has another row in front that I could add, but my Lost Lantern shelf and the entire shelf in the cabinet over there that has Lost Lantern on it are both full. And now they're in my overflow closet. And so at some point we have to go like, okay, I got to clear some stock out before I get any more.
Right.
Well, in Lost Lantern, it'd be fine if they just kept dropping. Well, actually, I'm looking at the cabinet now. I have room for like 3 more American Single Malt bottles, but a lot more rye. I can put more rye.
Absolutely. So, like the rise that they have.
I would rather
we got one.
Yeah, I would rather see. I feel like there's a million. I mean, like, Lost Lantern's great, and like, full disclosure, if it's not obvious, I had to cancel my club membership for budget reasons, as we're talking. And also, Jesus, like, I'm overflowing.
You're
right?
good.
Like, it wasn't only the budget was the problem. Yeah, but there's a million clubs doing barrel picks of bourbon. There's a lot of like independent bottlers, even in the United States, that are doing bourbon. Lost Lantern has almost an exclusive market on rye. They're not like exclusive on American Single Malt, because Single Cask Nation and American Single Cask also.
Right.
But like, I don't really know of any other independent bottlers that are picking really good rye. And I would love to see more rye than bourbon come out of Lost Lantern.
Yeah, I'd love
but
it
if we're
too.
honest, it all comes back to business reasons again. The fact is, bourbon is what sells.
Bourbon sells.
Well, and realistically, I don't think Lost Lantern's cognitively making the decision, well, we got to release more bourbon. I think it's just the distilleries they're going to, that's what they make. They make bourbon.
Right.
Because that's what has been selling for people. So they're like, okay, we go to the distillery A and they have the choice of a bourbon that they've made, or a rye that they sourced from MGP. And what are we going to pick? It's really good. It's really good bourbon, but do we need to put another bourbon out? Well, we want to get this distillery out there. So yes, we're going to put another bourbon.
And I can tell you from personal experience, I have sampled out, the Pine Bluff and the was it Backwards and all of those other ones that are in the distillery club. I've sampled them out to bourbon nerds, right? These guys are, they got Pappy stamped on their forehead. You know what I mean? And they don't like it. They don't like it because it's craft, right? And it's
because it's good. It's got character.
It's grain forward. It's not barrel forward. It has all of these notes to it, to where it's like, I don't
My
like
steak
that.
is too juicy. My lobster too buttery.
Exactly. So, I mean, and I know we're not talking about bourbon here, but still, it's kind of goes into that same category with American single malt. It's the same way. People want their American single malt to taste like Scotch. If they're going to drink it, they want it to be
You're
Scotch.
right.
And so
There's a
why?
large section that
Looking at
likes that.
you,
Yes.
Lost Lantern Oak and Grist and Lost Lantern Warfield.
Yeah,
But that's
Delicious.
there's
Delicious.
a large section of people that do want their American single malt to taste like Scotch, and
right.
Yeah.
I think a big
Like,
part
okay,
of it
look,
is
I'll fess up. I love Scotch.
yeah,
And I want my
absolutely.
American single malt to taste like Scotch, but I also love bourbon. And what I love about most American single malt is that I like bourbon, but not as much as Scotch, right? What I like about American single malt, a lot of them have a bourbon style, like a bourbon slant on them, right? Like
Mhm.
they're single malt. So I get what I like about that from single malt, but then they also give me a little bit of what I like from bourbon without going so deep in the barrel flavor and the strong tannins. I'm sensitive to tannins, which is the problem. I really like the flavor of bourbon, but it actually upsets my stomach. It makes my acid reflux act up because of the
Okay.
tannins. And that's why I don't drink bourbon that much.
Hmm.
Single malt doesn't have that problem for me.
Makes sense. Makes sense.
So, hey, that's more information than you needed to know about me.
Perfect.
Well,
Perfect. I'm going to send you some stag tomorrow.
there you go.
Well, I can always sip and spit and avoid the acid reflux part.
That is true.
That's sacrilege. You don't spit, Pappy. Come on.
Exactly.
I mean, I probably
Maybe you
would.
spit take Pappy when it's way worse than you think it's supposed to be.
Okay, we're not poo-pooing anything. Let's move on. Let's move on. Sorry.
Move on.
Sorry. Woo.
Moving on. The one thing I did want to say is, Doug, you and Randall, you both kind of touched on it. I don't think these clubs are purposefully making it more difficult to cancel or skip. I
Mhm.
think there is a very purposeful, let's not put it on a big red button right on the home page that says here's how you skip or cancel.
Yeah.
Right. You got to look, right? But the mentality of people, especially Americans, we sign up for Netflix, we sign up for Peacock, we sign up for Amazon, we sign up for this, we sign up for this, we sign up for this. Now, I've got Hulu. I haven't turned the TV on in 4 months.
Yeah. Facts.
But it's
Oh,
$100 a month, and I haven't turned it on. Now,
I haven't turned on the TV except to put on like a YouTube video for like a tutorial. I need something in my
Right.
kitchen.
like
Like,
here's the thing. I'm going to keep paying that $99 a month for Hulu, and I'm still not going to watch TV probably until football season starts again. Right? But the same thing goes with these whiskey clubs. You signed up for it, you pay per month. Here it is. Now you are actually getting something out of this. So you
Right.
feel better about it.
Yeah. This
So
year,
now-
the most recent
yeah.
from Westward,
Yeah.
PX, they just say PX Cherry Cask, but this is one of those PX Orange casks, like the one I had in the Blind Sample Showdown germ.
Oh, okay.
This actually, like, I wouldn't have known if I didn't get this bottle, but a lot of my issue with Westward Club is that, like, there's only a slight variation of any one of most of their cask finished products. There's only a slight variation on top of their standard core lineup.
Right.
Like, if you've had the core lineup stuff, you've had pretty much that's what it's going
What
to
they
taste like.
do.
There's just
That's
a
what they do.
little slight change of flavor, and that's enough to be interesting. But when that's all you get, and now you have 15 bottles of Westward because you've been in the club for 3-4 years, you start going like, do I really need another Westward?
Right.
Yep.
I meant to skip this one actually, but I'm glad I didn't, because this is actually one of the more unique and better ones in recent memory. Maybe like top 5 that I've ever gotten from
Wow.
the club.
That's awesome. That's awesome.
I think it's a really tasty, like, it's a nice, a lot of the cask finishes are like, okay, that's Westward plus a little something different on top. Some of the cask finishes really play nicely with the Westward malt, and this is one of them.
Okay.
Sweet.
But, if I didn't get it, I probably would never have thought twice about it or had FOMO or anything, because I feel like I've had it all.
Yep.
That's just kind of how it goes sometimes.
Yeah.
So consumer perspective on the clubs, and I'll give you my perspective on all the clubs. I applaud every one of those distilleries for doing a club. I like every one of those distilleries doing a club. I would love to have every bottle they do. However, for me, for my personal taste, I like variants, and I'll caveat this by saying I haven't actually purchased a bottle of whiskey since November. I haven't gone to a liquor store. I haven't looked online. I haven't done anything. Now, I am in the Lost Lantern Club, so I did get those bottles every month from that. When Lost Lantern does the releases, I just buy all those. I don't even question
Did you buy the whole set of the high low?
This year I did this last release is the first one that I haven't purchased the entire release since the Summer of Bourbon 1.
Wow.
But
this was how many? This was 12 bottles.
It was 12 bottles,
right?
Yeah,
It's a lot. It's
super
a lot.
high. Yeah,
it was a lot.
And a lot of them are extra pricey, right?
140.
Yeah, 140 was the highest
top
one.
Yeah. But it's a 154 proof days defiled that's 10 years old. So
yeah, I'm not saying it's not justified. What I am saying is that like
it's
if
expensive.
you assume Lost Lantern costs $100 a bottle, which is that's a low estimate, right? On average for Lost Lantern. But if you assume Lost Lantern basically costs $100 a bottle, there's 12 bottles. If you bought the whole thing, that's $1,200.
Yeah.
But then you're talking about, they're actually $120, $140 each.
Yeah.
Now you're like, damn, this thing is like
$1,500.
$1,500, $1,800 by the time you're done.
Yeah.
Like I looked at that collection and I said, I could only justify to myself buying the 2 single malts, if that, and ultimately decided against it.
So my caveat here was I haven't purchased anything, and I'm starting to lose my excitement and interest in whiskey. I'm not drinking much. I'm like, there's many, like up until recently.
Randall, I think Germ's about to break up with us.
That's
no,
okay.
I'm not. I would have at least one dram a night. And I'd pick something different. And, every week I go to the store, I have something new to go with. I'm excited. I'm always trying something new. Not buying stuff has brought me down into the place where I'm not interested in having one tonight. I've had everything here multiple times. I'm not having one. So now I'm down to 1 dram, 2 drams a week, maybe. The showdown is generally when I drink it, especially this time of year. That being said, I cannot justify myself to get into a club like Virginia, Westward. Cedar Ridge may be the exception here because you do get their whole portfolio. So you could get bourbon, you could get rye, you could get wheat whiskey, you could get single malt, right? There's multiple variants there. But to get, if what's Virginia, is that a quarterly club or a monthly?
Yes. Yeah, quarterly.
To get 4 bottles of Virginia every year, not that I'm opposed to it. I probably would go out and buy 4 bottles of Virginia every year at a minimum, but I don't want to be locked into that.
Yeah.
Right.
And I don't want to be locked into that. So for me, Lost Lantern is the ticket because I do get bourbon, I do get rye, I do get a unique, American pot still type whiskey. I get distilleries that I've never heard of, which that is excitement for me. That brings the excitement back. It's like, oh, cool. This is a place that I would never be able to buy this because they're in Idaho and they sell within a 40-mile radius of the distillery. That's where their distribution is. So,
Lost Lantern is where the novelty is coming from. Yeah.
That's the excitement for me, is the variance. Like variety is the spice of life for me, so to speak.
Yep. So once I figure out how to actually start getting rid of some liquid, because I'm just full up.
Yeah.
So like that's the immediate problem I need to solve, which is everyone's going to have this problem eventually. Like we guys, we have, we're okay with having 300 bottles, 400 bottles of whiskey.
Yeah.
At some point you run out of space.
Yeah.
Most people are going to be okay with having, like, they're going to be like, oh, my normal is I have like a bottle of bourbon, a bottle of scotch, a bottle of rye, maybe, and some mixers and vodka and gin. And you got a bar cart, you got a little wet bar.
Right.
And if once it becomes like 20 bottles of stuff, people start going like, wow, that's a lot of stuff. Like, and then you're like, yeah, but I make this cocktail with this, and I make this cocktail with this. And like, guys like us don't literally, like, I still have a half-ounce dram most days of the week. But and that's decreasing a bit, right? But like it's like you said, it's the season, right? Like
Mm-hmm.
stuff changes, your appetite for stuff changes, you're busy, whatever. Um, I at this point, if I had something different, and I'm usually not, I'm like having the same, like I'm rotating through the same like maybe 10 things over the course of a month. And then like next month it's going to be a rotation of like some of that same stuff plus a few extra things, right? Like I'm not actually having a completely different bottle every single day of the year. And even if I did, I wouldn't get through everything I have.
Right.
Absolutely.
Because I have more than a year worth of whiskeys per day.
Yeah. So then you got to start having
This is a very unique problem to people like us.
Yeah.
So then you need
exactly.
to have 600 and something bottles so you can have 2 a day. And
That's right. You go through them twice a year. No,
Yeah.
but you said the other thing.
Yeah.
Increase how much you drink. Yeah. No. So like when you think about, okay, so now somebody joins the Lost Lantern Club. And like I love the Lost Lantern Club. I think that's where the
Amen.
novelty is. People like us are novelty seekers. And so we've stopped buying from the same brands for the most part because we want novelty.
Yeah.
A more normal person maybe isn't joining the Lost Lantern Club, but like a person with a more normal bar cart who joins the Lost Lantern Club is going to be a person who is going to like get that bottle and drink through it over the course of the month because that's the only bottle of whiskey they have, and they're okay with only having one bottle at a time.
And that would be a great, I mean, if you could do that, that's fantastic.
Mm-hmm.
Realistically, that's fantastic.
Mm-hmm.
I can't do
Yep.
that.
I can't do
Yeah,
that.
no. But like I think there's definitely a certain brand of novelty seeker who is okay with not having a library of everything they've ever tasted.
Right.
Just be like, okay, cool. I had a new experience. That was a month of my life. We're moving on. I think, actually encourage don't do this. This is freaking irresponsible.
No, it's very irresponsible. Yeah. No, I mean, I'm not even
where you buy
I'm not
a bottle
even
of
in my
whiskey
whiskey room, you know, but like there, I have more bottles around me that I'm like, what the hell am I doing? And then so like what I do to kind of offset the bottle fatigue is I just get samples and I send them to people. Well, then there's or hand deliver. You know, then there's issues with that because then you're spending money giving your whiskey away to people.
That's right. That's right. You're spending money,
and I'm totally fine with that.
That's
the
well,
booze
it's kind of like
that I already purchased.
Bill, right?
So it's like I purchased the bottle. Let's say I spent $100 for this bottle of whiskey, and then I divide it up into 27 samples and ship it out to people, and I had 2 ounces of it. Like
each one of these Boston rounds costs basically $1,
roughly. Yeah, roughly.
So yeah, so you're adding $30 plus however many boxes of shipping you sent out, like
plus the shipping.
Plus the shipping.
Yep.
Yeah. And I will tell you right now, shipping is insane.
It's pretty hot right now. Yeah, right now it's insane.
Yeah.
And yeah.
If you were thinking you would ever send if you were ever going to send whiskey to Europe, well, first of all, don't. That's illegal.
Yeah, you don't.
Yeah,
or
at the very least, you got to pay customs, which means you need to have a license and yada yada. Don't do that. If anybody needed to be told that, I'm glad I just did. Whoever needs to hear this, don't send whiskey to Europe.
Please don't.
Or anywhere else in the world. Don't send it outside the United States.
You can't send it in the mail. Don't do that.
You can't send it in the mail.
You got to donkey deliver.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So I actually there was one thing I tell people all the time. If you're gonna give somebody a bottle of whiskey, you gotta meet up, you gotta fly to them and meet up with them.
Yeah.
Technically, that is the legally safest, like it is perfectly legal for you to fly with under a certain amount of whiskey. There are still limits. To fly from your state to another state in the United States or even another country with a bottle of whiskey or a few bottles of whiskey and hand deliver it to somebody.
Mm-hmm.
And people think that I'm just saying that to save legal face, but I literally, in fact, took a bottle of my McCarthy's Barrel Pick, put it in my luggage, took it to London, met up with a guy I knew from the internet. Don't recommend doing that, but I knew this guy pretty well. And hand delivered him as a gift a bottle of McCarthy's because he's another mod of the Whiskey Lodge.
Meet up with a guy that you met on the internet. You don't recommend. What is this?
Have
we met in person?
We have.
Okay, German. No, I have. Yes,
we haven't. I'm pretty normal, I think.
No, look.
I have both of my kidneys, so
until we meet.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Right.
Do
Now
as
I
I
have
do as I
0
say, not as I do,
kidneys.
right? Like, kids, don't meet up with strangers on the internet. But if you're a podcaster and you know that everybody has skin in the game, it's a little bit of a different thing.
It
Yeah,
is.
no, yeah.
It is.
Realistically, that's a thing that, I mean, if you get a vibe to not do that, don't do it.
Yeah. Yeah.
If you get the vibe like, yeah, this guy's a normal everyday Joe and we're gonna get along great. I mean, yeah, take a shot. What I mean, you could make the best friend for life right there.
Yep. Absolutely.
Or you could meet a real weird dude and never talk to him again.
Yeah.
That happens too.
That does happen too.
It does. Unfortunately, that happens too.
And then,
I bet
okay, so you guys see these content creators, like, like it seems certain, like, I respect a lot of these people. I feel like they make really good content. But the fact that, like, it seems like throughout the year, literally every time they meet someone else from the internet, they make content together. And it's like, guys, I know that you're a content creator and you enjoy this, but like, either you found the secret to having this take absolutely no effort whatsoever that doesn't take you out of the moment, or
Right.
you have forgotten to just be present. Like,
Enjoy the
Germ and I
moment.
met up, and like within the first couple of sentences after the pleasantries, we were like, so we're not going to make content together, right? We'll take like a selfie, but we're just going to sit around and drink, right? And that's what we did.
We got 3 pictures and we talked.
Yeah.
That's amen. That's how it should be.
Right. But, I mean,
because like otherwise you're setting up a camera and you're acting for the
it's-
camera, and like it's a total, like, doing this once a month with you guys is like,
I mean, I don't really.
that's
act
on the
for camera
calendar.
either.
Yeah,
I do it from my room. It's a different thing than like you're meeting somebody in person for the first time, and then you're like, okay, let's turn on a camera, let's make some content. Like, I don't know, man.
No, I'm not in. I'll tell you, I even go farther. Now, I was out in Seattle by you. I went to Westland. I went to Copperworks twice, and I went to Woodinville. Guess what I didn't get?
Any
Any
content.
video, content, pictures, or anything from any of the 3 distilleries.
Mhm.
You know why? Because I was interested in what was going on there at that time.
You didn't even like snap some pictures?
Hardly any.
Yeah. All right.
I
at least have gotten used to like pull out my phone,
Yeah.
point my camera at something. Like,
I took more
not really
pictures
worry if it's
of
the perfect picture.
Seattle than I
Yeah.
did of distilleries.
Yeah, that makes sense. And it was
Right.
your
I
first
mean,
time visiting, right?
First time in the area. I loved it. The freaking the what is it called? The market.
Yeah,
Big
Pike Place
popular
Market.
market. What is it?
Pike Place.
Pike Place, yes. Absolutely fantastic. I spent hours.
Technically, I
Hours.
was reminded of this recently. The public market on Pike Place,
Okay, whatever.
because
I
Pike Place
spent
Market,
hours there. It was fantastic.
Yeah. somebody saw a sign that said Pike Place Market driving down the highway, like on the back of a truck. And then they were like, wait, are they changing the sign at the market to something else? And it's like, no, that's like somebody's doing that for some promotional event somewhere else. It has nothing to do with the market, because
Funny.
the market itself says public market. It's
Yeah.
on Pike Place.
But really, I mean, I don't go to these places in order to get the content. Sometimes, I mean, like, if I know, hey, I've been to your place, like, Wollersheim. I've been there a couple times. I took the content the 3rd or 4th time I was there. And then I ended up meeting up with Tom, the distiller there. Didn't even break out my phone. I just sat and listened to what he had to say and asked him questions and learned from him about what was going on in his place, in his world. And
That makes a lot of sense. Definitely, like, you have been a podcaster for a lot less time than I have.
Yeah.
I, at this point, have the muscle to at least go like, do you mind if I start my phone recording so I have a record of this conversation?
Yeah.
Right. Unless, like, sometimes you're like, that's going to be a thing. They're going to change what they're going to say. Cause like sometimes you just got to like absorb the insider information.
Mm-hmm.
I still kind of regret that I never got an in-person interview at Stranahan's, because it's been so hard to schedule them for an on-record interview. But I was there in Denver for ACSA, and they were the host distillery. And I was like, look, I would love to tour the distillery and sit down and talk with somebody, but I'm not going to record it for content. And I kind of wish I hadn't made that promise, because I honored the promise, but the conversation I had with Justin Aiden was absolutely publishable.
well, okay. In the other thing that I think about it is now Tyler and I walked around the distillery at Westland. We had a great time. We chatted, we talked. I mean, I got to do some things that I don't think a lot of people get to do.
Mhm.
Had I broke out the camera, I don't know if I'd have gotten to do some of the same
Right.
things.
Absolutely.
Yeah, that's fair. That's true.
You know what I mean?
Well, it's
Yeah.
very similar to going to a concert and everybody's doing this the whole
Yeah.
time.
Uh-huh.
And they're
Yep.
watching the concert through their screen. Be there and enjoy the concert, right?
Yeah,
Those
absolutely.
people are performing. These guys, I mean, how many times, when will be the next time you go to Westland? When will be the next time you go to these places?
That's right.
Enjoy them while you're there. I understand we are all in the business and I get it and we're all doing a thing, but like there's a point in that where you're like, is this just for content or is this to feed my soul? You know, and when it feeds your soul, you're able to come back and talk about that content in a way that is so different than if you were to sit there and record the whole thing. And that's why, to me, on-site podcasts and stuff, for me personally, and this no offense to anybody who does that, on-site podcasts are they kind of take away from the glamour of the said thing. You know, I would rather have some guy, you know, when Joe O'Sullivan came on my show, he had to green screen his background because it was his dirty garage, you know.
Right.
I'm like, I love that. I love that your cat is literally pooping right there. Like this is awesome, you know. And like instead of being in this multi-million-dollar facility and like all of the gears and things, and they're having to shut down production just so you can do your show, like that to me takes a lot of the grandeur out of it, takes the mystery out of the whiskey for sure. For me now would I love to go to some of these huge distilleries and get a behind the scenes, would do all this drone footage and all that? That would be great. That would be cool. But at the same time, that might not be the type of content that I need to produce or you know, and maybe
somebody else has already done it.
Absolutely.
You know, somebody else has already done it.
Freaking Bruzel already came in there and did that. So
yeah. So okay, and then we're talking about like there are content creators who are higher quality and not so high quality, or who we like or who we don't like as much. I think Crafted Conversations, for one, is doing a really good job at in person, really respectful of the space.
Absolutely.
He always goes on a day they're not producing, so they don't have to shut down.
Right.
You know, and the other thing for me is first and foremost, like I do this is fun, I enjoy this. I got the Blind Sample Showdown, I got Freedom Malts channel, whatever, all of that, right? Not that any of them are overly fantastic and popular and great and all that, but first and foremost, I'm an enthusiast. So for me to be able to get in and talk to Tyler Peterson, talk to Tom Lorenz, and you know, and one-on-one, and in their still room, and in their blending room, and in their, you know, special cabinet that's got stuff that nobody has ever seen or heard of before, you know what I mean? That is irreplaceable.
How many distilleries have you gotten the special cabinet treatment at? Just curious.
10, 15?
Nice. I haven't been to that many distilleries, period, actually, believe it or not.
So distilleries I've been to is over 100.
Wow.
That's
nice.
Awesome.
Yeah. I've been to a lot, and I purposefully do that a lot. When I go somewhere, I find a couple and I go. And sometimes I just sit at the bar at the tasting room and I have a couple things, and sometimes I start a conversation and they're like, yeah, come back and check it out.
So I had two notable, like, the private cabinet experiences. Because like they'll always bring out stuff, right? Oh, we've got this distillery exclusive, we've got this special thing behind the bar that we only serve to people that we think are going to like it. That's one thing. But when they take you into the back and they start sharing with you their private collection of like, this isn't even their whiskey, they're like, this is some scotch I like, I think you're going to like this, right? Two really notable experiences there. Out Balcones, they have a whiskey library.
Yep.
Jared took me up to the whiskey library and we sat around, and he served me I don't even remember what it was now. It's on video. It's on audio tape. But it was like a 15-year-old, I think it was Hudson something from New York. just in a sample bottle, like it was a 2-ounce sample bottle that was already half empty. He poured like a tiny bit in his glass, a tiny bit in my glass. I was like, don't pour me too much because I know that's special. I want to respect it and everything. And he had a sip with me, but then he just poured the rest of his back in there. He's like, I'm gonna save as much of this as possible. And then we sampled a couple of other things that were in the room. So that was one. And the other one was Jonathan Harris at Westward took me into the education room where he's got a shelf of stuff from other distilleries that they admire and reference.
Cool.
And actually that was my first taste of the Whiskey Del Bach New Make, the what do they call that product? The unaged whiskey.
Pueblo.
Old Pueblo.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So at Westward of all places is the first place I had
Del Bach unaged.
Yeah.
All right. Well, so we covered our announcement for the barrel pick from Distillery Acadian. So please, guys, keep paying attention. I promise the information, as soon as we get it, will be passed on to you. You will be able to sign up. Just know it is pre-sale. You will put down what you want, charge and pay for it. I'm sure this is how that's going to happen. And then as soon as fulfillment can happen, you'll get notifications. So please don't get impatient with that. If you want in on Barrel 45, don't sleep.
Jump on it. Start thinking about it now.
Very fast.
Reach out to us. Yeah.
There's like 36 bottles available. Yeah. Obviously, the three of us want some. So there's going to
be 10 bottles left.
Yeah. Exactly. Fight over them.
So I would love to see 33 people get bottles of Barrel 45 if they want it. I don't know as if that's going to happen because I do want at least 2 bottles. I know y'all want a couple bottles.
Yep, same. I want at least 2 because I want one for now and I want to save one for long future.
I basically, I think if the 2 of us or if the 3 of us take 2 bottles apiece, that leaves us with 30. I would love to see 30 people that really are interested in American Single Malts get a hold of that. It's fantastic whiskey. It really is. It's unique. The port finished, absolutely a great whiskey. It is very, very much more approachable for somebody who's not into really unique stuff. So preferably you guys buy both. You buy one of each and you have a great time.
Try the approachable one, try the unusual one.
Yep. And so keep paying attention for that. We will let you guys know when that comes out, but yes, be patient with the fulfillment on it. I know that will take a little bit of time from the time that you pay for it. So we talked about Cedar Ridge changing up the name of the standard Quintessential to the Solera Edition. Excellent stuff. Should be easy to find. The Cedar Ridge Backpack Club, kind of some clarification on that. We didn't talk about the Virginia 50/50.
Yeah, I'd love to talk about that a little bit.
So Doug's got some good insight on this. You may have seen this on Instagram.
Yep. So if you follow Coming Whiskey or you follow Single Malt Frontier on Instagram, you will have seen this label. So Virginia Distillery Company has a cola label out. This is not a product that's been released yet. It's called the Split Barrel Project, bourbon and American Single Malt blended 50/50, and released at 45% ABV. You see they branded this as project number 1, so we suspect there will be more, but of course they're leaving that option open. It's not a guarantee. People saw this, I saw this, and said, people had some thoughts. The first obvious thought is Virginia Distillery Company has pretty much only ever made American Single Malt. Why get into American blended malt in the blended malt Scotch sense, right? Single malt blended with something else, which in the Scotch reckoning would be considered a single grain whiskey, making it a blended malt. So in the Scotch sense, this product is a blended malt whiskey. Sorry, not a blended malt. A blended American
Scotch. This is just blended whiskey. This is just blended
whiskey.
Yes. In the Scotch sense, this is blended whiskey. In the American sense, this is blended whiskey, even actually, in all of the same senses. So you start going, okay, why? And this is going to be $45, by the way. That has been released to me and was released publicly on the Instagram comments by another user. So this is public information somehow. $45. So it's not a bad price point. It is higher than the VDC, like the Blue Ridge Select, which is $35 though. So you ask yourself why this product. So where's the bourbon from? The bourbon is from Bardstown Bourbon Company. So a little bit unfortunate timing, but of course this label was submitted several months before the lawsuit, and we don't need to get into that.
That's another show. Somebody else's show.
That's a whole
somebody
different
else's
thing.
show.
That gets into a whole can of worms. I did ask, just out of curiosity, was it meant to be an ongoing distillery collaboration? And the answer was, the concept of the split barrel being VDC, American Single Malt, and something else, probably bourbon, is not necessarily tied to a single other producer. And that actually is where the variance in the series is going to come from. So let's answer the question, where did this product come from? So I had a nice public statement that I sort of put together, summarized from my conversation with Amanda Beckwith. I reached out to Amanda Beckwith for comment on this release. The context behind this one is that in some time past, a private customer wanted a white label blend and selected this 50-50 formula, being the Bardstown Bourbon Company and the VDC. With that blend in hand, the marketing department at VDC thought this could be an interesting tool to help introduce people gently from bourbon to ASM. And they introduced this label to the cola process several months ago. Hypothetical future releases in the series would not necessarily be with the same partner distillery, or even the same mash bill or blend ratio. So that's the official media statement on this one. We can take a little closer look at the mash bills for anybody who's interested in that. The Bardstown Bourbon Company is 6535. And it's a blend of a 4-year and a 5-year. So like this, by all accounts, is a respectable product. Now, zooming out, I thought, for the one thing, sometimes brands have their products leaked early. We can take down the slide now, Jim. Sometimes brands get their products, their cola labels, released early before they're really ready to do any sort of marketing on it. This is public information, but accounts like Cumming Whiskey do release this well ahead of when they're planning on doing any media. So it does get more media attention on these things earlier than brands might like sometimes. And because I saw that happening and I saw some confusion, I reached out for comment because I felt like we owed it to them to like clear the air a little bit on like what this product is. Some of these colas, by the way, get approved and never actually ship as products.
Right.
That's another thing to remember.
And some get approved and get bottled and labeled a year later. I mean, it's
right. So it could be
not
sometime.
A thing that says, "Oh, cola approved," and a week later we're going to see the product on the shelf. That's not how that works.
Or it's going to go into a market that you're never going to see, like overseas or something like that. So,
right.
So just understand, when you see it, that doesn't mean it's coming out. And now if it's a brand, like I know he does a lot of Lost Lanterns and stuff like that, that those are probably going to be new releases. But with some of these releases, you just have to understand that like this is potential whiskey that could be coming out.
Right. Yeah, there was a funny thing that happened. I was on the phone with Colin Keegan from Santa Fe after he had already sort of stepped down from production and was just doing marketing. There had been an acquisition, blah, blah, blah. While I was on the phone with him, which was a pre-scheduled phone call, between scheduling that phone call and when I was actually on the phone with him, I'd seen these colas come out that had rebranded Santa Fe Spirits from Cole Keegan to Santa Fe Spirits. And I asked him about that. And he was like, "Oh, that's news." He didn't know. I broke the news to him that his name was being removed from the label. That was really awkward.
I bet.
Well, I feel sheepish.
Yeah.
And in the comments, go ahead and give me what movie that's from, and you'll win a point. I don't know.
So anyway, okay. So we've talked about this product. Now I guess let's give our consumer commentary as American Single Malt fans and Scotch Single Malt fans. What do you like? Are you interested in this product? I think I know your answer. Do you think there's a justifiable place in the consumer market for a product like this? And
I'll start.
Also, just to give you food for thought, there is also the Watch Post whiskey from Westland, which is a blend of Westland single malt and I believe 15-year-old MGP light whiskey.
Right.
So this is not the first time we're seeing a blend of ASM with something else to make a blended whiskey that has some
no.
ASM in it.
I actually bottled multiple times where I've had that situation. I have zero interest in the product. Am I mad that they're doing the product? No, absolutely not. If somebody blended this up, somebody likes it, and a group picked it and said, this is our favorite, this is what we want, by all means, that's what you guys want. There's, I mean, drink the whiskey you like, the way you like to drink it, when you like to drink it, and how you like to drink it. That's all about it. I'm not interested in the product. Am I interested in, will it do what the intentions are by giving an approachable product to people that are into a certain aspect of whiskey, and we want to see if we can get them into another aspect of whiskey? Yeah, absolutely. I'm interested in that. I want to see that. I hope that goes well. I hope that achieves what they want to achieve. But me, for personally, I have had American Single Malt blended with bourbon. I've had it blended with rye. I've had it blended with light whiskey. I think it all tastes like bad, for me. So
I'm not sure. I've had Bardstown bourbon, not a lot, but I've had it at conferences at least, and I've had VDC. I believe they could work well together, but I'm not 100% certain I'm going to like the finished product. I was actually pleasantly surprised by the watch post, though. I felt like you could taste the Westland in it. You could taste the light whiskey in it. It didn't totally lose character the way you might think, the way a Johnny Walker Red has totally lost character.
And to be fair, a lot of that is on the blender.
Yeah.
Right.
Realistically. Yeah. Right.
And Westland, of course, has a great blender.
Right. And
Shane is
a great blender.
Yes.
I do not want to take a absolute thing away from Amanda or Shane. Excellent blenders, right? Can they do it? Yeah, I'm sure they can do it. Is it still going to be something that I don't like? Most likely. And
I mean, as a Scotch and American single malt enthusiast, I think it's probably fair to say these are not necessarily the products for us. Right. I did briefly entertain the idea that I should buy a bottle of Watch Post to complete the collection, but then I realized that was just my collector's anxiety more than a genuine interest in the product.
Right.
But I hope that goes well for them. I'm also kind of bummed for them that a significant quantity of that product was lost in the heist. It's a lot less of a financial loss, that particular product.
Right.
But also makes it more difficult to do that big. They were hoping to get that into a lot of stores and such.
Yeah.
So I think we've seen a lot less public happy buzz about that particular product because half the country didn't get it. That sucks.
That does suck.
But yeah, I mean, like, blended whiskeys have always been a thing. And talking again about, like, hey, early 2026, we're seeing the maturing of American single malt whiskey as a category in lots of different ways. We're seeing, I think, there is consumer interest in taking this well-made product and putting it into, like, I think a lot of these blends, frankly, exist to be a cheaper package. Not necessarily the case with VDC because their cheapest products are, like, somehow they're loss leaders subsidizing those products to the point where the price is just bonkers low. But besides that, I mean, mostly these products are going to be those Solera products, those big batch blended products, the blends of really high quality whiskey with a maybe cheaper to make. Let's assume still high quality whiskey, but like a cheaper to make column still whiskey, right? And taste is kind of not linear necessarily, right? Like, if you put 50% American single malt on a cheap base or a single malt Scotch on a cheap base, you're not going to get a 50% watered down malt flavor. You're going to get maybe like 70-80% of that malt flavor. It's a little bit watered down, but if that base is good, it's going to carry it well. And so you end up with a much cheaper product that tastes for what most people use it for, cocktails, on the rocks,
fairly well. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. It's going to actually be a really cost-effective way to bring that more expensive product to more people.
Yeah.
So I think it does serve a good spot in the market. I
Oh,
just
for
think
sure.
that
Yes, absolutely. It
right now is a
belongs.
weird
There's a
time
place where it
because
belongs, for sure.
yeah, like we're right now a little past the peak of popularity of single malt Scotch, American single malt, and the whiskey market unfortunately is going through a rocky time.
Mhm.
The whole freaking economy at this point is
Yeah.
going through a rocky time, but like when the whiskey market started to dip, that looked like a whiskey market specific problem. I think
Right.
that was it was maybe a leading indicator of recession-ish behaviors in the market, but you know, people
Well,
cutting off luxury goods, right?
right.
I don't know still, right? I think at this point people are like us. They've got more whiskey, they don't need to buy anymore. They've got enough whiskey for a while. Even those people who have 20 bottle wet bars with their cocktail mixers and everything we were talking about earlier.
Yeah, they're
I think
set
a lot
for
of people are just like, I don't need to buy more stuff, right?
Mhm.
No.
I don't think we've quite gotten to the place in the market where people want to buy more whiskey, but they also want to buy a cheaper alternative. And I think once we get to that point, which things will swing back the other way sooner or
Mhm.
later. Once we get to that point, I think these products that are managing to hit a lower price point by potentially pulling tricks like blending American single malt with some light whiskey or bourbon, like I think that might be a way to get people back into it. Just like for decades on end, Johnny Walker has been everybody's entry into Scotch.
Right.
Well,
I
and
think
to
we'll
be
get there.
fair, to be fair, blending American single malt whiskey with American light whiskey is essentially the exact same thing as blended Scotch.
Yeah.
Exactly.
It is.
Blending
Exactly.
single malt Scotch with grain whiskey.
Mhm.
Yes.
It's identical stuff with slightly different names.
Right.
So can it be done well? Yes, absolutely. It can be done
Mhm.
well. We've seen it. We've seen it done
Yep.
well. And realistically, there was a point in time in Scotland where whiskey went down, 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 down. Well, then all of a sudden, guess what happened? We started figuring out how to blend, and whiskey came back, 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 and then it plateaued at that blend stage and kind of lost some clout and was going down slowly. And then single malt reemerged as this is superior whiskey,
Mhm.
Yep.
and it boomed the whole single malt Scotch thing for 20 years, damn near.
Right. Right.
Maybe more than 20 years, maybe 30 or 40 years.
Even the giant
So
distilleries, I think everybody has this perception that a single malt, you know, all names and marketing aside, right? I think that like once you know what a single malt is, it feels like an artisan product in a way that a blended whiskey is not.
correct.
And like
I-
artisan
that's great.
food and luxury products have been hot for a while.
Right.
That's just the phase of the market that we're in.
And they're going to take a back seat eventually because things are going to get tight. Things
Mhm.
are going to be like, okay, we've been doing this for a while. Let's just we've got what we like right now. Let's just stick with that. And maybe someday we'll go back out to these fancy restaurants and these fancy bars and do all that and it'll come back. But for the most part, we're in a downswing, and I think people are trying to get ahead of the downswing.
Absolutely. And one of the other things in the world, looking at the entire world, the number one seller of whiskey is a blended whiskey. Period.
Yeah.
Because
right.
of the cost versus the ends to a mean, right?
Or is it
You know?
Jack Daniel's Old Number 7?
Oh, it's
Well,
not.
that's up there
It's
too.
not. That
I
is.
mean, that's in the top 3, I think, isn't
It
it?
is.
Yeah.
It is. Yeah, but the first one is like some McDouglas or something like that.
I've never even heard of it. Yeah.
And it's from like India. India is the number one, or one of those countries is the number one supplier of blended malt whiskey, or blended Scotch, I guess you could say. And they are by far the most whiskey in the world, like than anybody else. Because I mean, you think about the living conditions and stuff. They unfortunately they're drinking themselves stupid over there with the cheapest stuff they can, because why not, right?
Yeah.
If you had to live in those circumstances,
I think we might be reducing a culture a little bit. Let's
you
tiptoe a
know
little
what
bit
I
here.
mean. You know what I mean.
So,
You know what I'm
Randall, though, to your point, China was a huge purchaser of Scotch whiskey of all types, single malt and blended, and obviously blended Scotch went to China a lot. I mean, it was a very massive thing. This news that I saw could affect American single malt greatly in a way. Scotland has decided to not ship that much to China anymore.
I wonder why.
So, well, I didn't read the article in its entirety, but there were some things said, and the article is public. You guys can go out and find it if you're interested in it, because I'm not going to recite the entire thing.
Yeah, can we
But
like put that in the show notes today though?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But for sure, now China has been buying this product from this country for many, many years. And now all of a sudden maybe they can't.
Okay.
What's going to happen? They're going to want to look somewhere else. Well, where are they going to look? Well, if we're creating single malt out of America,
I don't know. Geopolitics does not seem to indicate that China's going to want to buy a whole bunch of whiskey from the United States.
Okay, now I don't disagree with you, but who owns some of the bigger single malt distilleries?
No, you're right.
Companies that are not in
American.
They're not American companies. Right. So they can circumvent some of that stuff.
Yeah, no, that's true, right? You've got Pernod Ricard, you've got Remy, you've got Diageo. They're all European companies.
Okay, so it could be circumvented. That could really.
Does LVMH own? They do, right? They own some whiskey brands. They own some spirits brands.
They own Bullet.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, all these multinational luxury brand super conglomerates. Yeah, and they're all European.
Right. So
actually, even Beam Suntory is just Suntory now, which is Japanese.
It's just Suntory.
Right. So realistically, that could affect American single malt in a positive manner. Will it? I don't know. Obviously, I'm not that business savvy to where I could see that writing on the wall. But is it a possibility? Yeah, sure, it's a possibility. And what would that do for us? The amount of creation of American single malt would be elevated.
Right.
We might see more stuff. Right.
Rising tide. Right.
Right. But again, are they buying blended product or are they buying single malt? Well, now we got to make a ton of single malt so we can blend it with a ton of light whiskey and then send it. Yeah. Okay, so that's going to revert. That's going to go backwards for us. We don't want
when
that.
They invented light whiskey in the 70s. I don't know if they foresaw this as the future of light whiskey.
No, they didn't. They just wanted to beat out vodka.
Yeah, they're like, vodka sucks. Let's find something we can do. And they're like, oh, it sucks too. So let's
leave
it in the barrel for 20 years.
Scotch single grain whiskey. Yeah.
Right.
Oh man. Okay, so that was we're getting a little bit into bummer territory there.
Yeah.
I wonder if we could let's
rally. Let's rally.
There was another thing. Your first piece of news, Randall, I wanted to talk a little bit more about.
Yeah, please do.
So the maturing of the American single malt whiskey category, we've got contest winners. It's not just singularity, right?
Right.
We've seen, I'm not going to make a laundry list right now because we didn't come prepared with this, but it's been a lot. We've seen the international, like this, I think it's San Diego or San Francisco. San Francisco Whiskey Festival. ACSA, there have been tons of awards for American single malt in 2024 and 2025. And in 2024, they weren't even like in an American single malt whiskey category. They just won in whiskey, right? American single malt whiskey is not just like, oh, this is good within the category of American single malt whiskey. No, these contests are, this is good whiskey or this is good single malt, depending on the contest, depending on the category breakdown. American single malt whiskey is proving time and time again. I mean, there's hundreds of distilleries. You haven't heard of them all. A lot of them aren't that good.
Right.
Just like in Scotland, there's hundreds of distilleries. And like, if you spent your life studying them, you could name them all and try them all. But like a lot of them are unremarkable for a reason. They go into blends.
A lot of them are blending beasts. Yep.
Yeah.
They just produce a product that nobody drinks.
I think we could start to argue that there are at this point almost as many really high quality, like top of the list American single malt whiskey distilleries as there are the same description of Scotch distilleries. Nowhere near the same volume. Nowhere near the same volume, of course. But in terms of the number of distinct American distilleries that are making top-notch American single malt whiskey that people love and respect, we're getting close to the same as the number of really remarkable Scotch distilleries. And they're proving it's not just if you limit it to the United States. They're proving that it is very truly single malts of the world and we're winning. And not all the time. And then,
And we shouldn't win all the time because there's some
Right.
fantastic products throughout the entire world.
Yeah,
right,
absolutely.
right. There's going to be a lot of contests where American single malts show up and don't win anything.
Right.
It also comes down to the judges. Yeah.
It's like the Olympics. We don't win every time we go to the Olympics, right?
Yep.
Neither does Russia, neither does China, neither does Japan, neither does France, neither,
Yep.
but they all share some wins. So I think just being able to compete on that stage,
Absolutely,
legitimately,
and to
is
be
a good
respected at the end of the day.
yes,
Yeah.
absolutely.
And seeing the Scotch distillers and blenders coming to America and being like, you guys are doing amazing stuff, and saying, hey, what are you doing to get this profile and blah blah blah, and taking that back to their distillery and trying to, even though their distillery is 10 times older than these, they're trying to take that back and be like, maybe we need to innovate a little bit. We have the legacy, we need to maybe innovate a little bit. And it's super cool to see that other people are learning from these American single malt distillers that are just, and we all know the brands, right, that are just every release is a knockout, and we know that's going to be a great one. And to see it show up to see it show up on the world stage and for everybody to applaud it, that just, it's almost like job well done, right? But the job's not finished. We're just started. And that's the cool thing. Like, with Scotch and Irish and stuff, they've had hundreds of years to build their brand and build their portfolio. Whereas American single malt,
what made Japanese whiskey take off and become a tater is the fact that they beat out a Scotch for best single malt in the world with their
because
Yamazaki
it was a Scotch,
crazy old because they made a Scotch, right? But I mean, they made it in Japan. It was genuinely a distilled in Japan product that was really well made.
I know. I'm playing.
Excellent sherry. I don't forget how old that one was.
Yeah.
Excellent sherry cask, right? Everyone's like, oh, Yamazaki won best single malt in the world, which is that's what that headline gets distilled into, because that's all it takes. It doesn't matter that this was the masterwork of a distillery, right? This was the best thing they've ever made.
Right.
And then everyone's like, I got to buy Yamazaki 12 to the point where when
Yamazaki
I first bought Yamazaki 12,
$190.
Yeah, it's ridiculous.
Yeah, I think 2 years ago, I was talking to the bar manager at a restaurant, and I was looking at the whiskey menu, and I was seeing the price. Like, I was like, hey, Yamazaki and Hakushu are like really good prices here. Is that actually a full ounce and a half? And he said, yeah, but buy it now because in a month, Suntory is doubling. This was a couple years ago, right? We've seen it happen. Now it's $190
it's already
a bottle.
done.
Yeah. When I first bought a bottle of Yamazaki 12, it was the equivalent of like less than $60 US. And it was already price inflated then because that was 2015. The next time I bought the bottle of Yamazaki, it was $130. And now it's over 200. Why did all of that happen? That all started because of that one international whiskey award where they won best single malt, which means they beat Scotch.
So there was a couple of other things that happened that helped that out. So that award helped, right? That drove some popularity and some interest to Japanese whiskey. So then Japanese whiskey started saying, well, let's just pump out Japanese whiskey that isn't Japanese whiskey. Okay. So now you got mediocre products coming out as Japanese whiskey, and Yamazaki 12 is a fantastic product.
Right.
That is Japanese whiskey.
Yeah.
So then
maybe not so fantastic anymore. My opinion is the quality has dropped since 10 years ago.
It may have, but fast forward a little bit. Now we have the rules in place in Japan. So now to say Japanese whiskey has to be following these rules. Well, now
but they put the cart before the horse, right? They put the cart before the horse because they made excellent single malt before they had rules regulating what that was.
They did.
And then the rest of the world.
Not everybody did.
Right. And the rest of the world started going like, oh, but there's all these Japanese whiskeys. It turns out there was a little bit of a rug pull here. You actually just sold me blended Scotch.
Yeah.
Right.
Which Yamazaki was never just a blended Scotch.
Right. It was always 100% Japanese made distilled.
Right. That's what I'm getting at.
Yes.
So people figured out that Yamazaki was a real deal.
Yeah.
Price goes up again.
Right. But my point is, The United States, thanks to having really solid whiskey rules, which Japan didn't at all. They just didn't have rules for whiskey, right? The United States having really solid whiskey rules, everybody who was making American single malt before the ratification of the ASMW definition was either making whiskey, which already had pretty strict definitions, right? And it just happened to be whiskey that was made from 100% malted barley. Or they were making American malt whiskey, which was at least 51% malted barley. It just happened to be 100% malted barley. So we already were fitting into a really rigid category. And if anything, American single malt whiskey made it broader, right? Brought, more like spiritually in common with Scotch, but like within American whiskey brought more into the same category in terms of options for how you make whiskey, and legitimized every single one of those choices. So people have been kind of constrained in what they were making before. And now the door is wide open for people to take risks without being worried about violating a future definition, which is great. And like some people say innovation is not really a thing in whiskey because everybody's done variations on the same thing a million times. But like, if we call it like product category innovation, and you know what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
What is available to the category now is likely to make our success on the international stage better even than before.
Yeah. Correct.
So I'm really looking forward to what hits the UK market 3 years after the ratification of American single malt whiskey, when they can ship a label to the UK that 100% complies with the Scotch's, with the SWA's definition,
the world's definition,
world's definition of what single malt whiskey should be.
That's right.
And to see people react to that, and they'll go, oh, but it's only 3 years old, it's immature, right? But we'll get there. American single malt whiskey is turning out.
But they already love that bourbon. Get them bourbons over there, and what do you think those are? 4 and 5 year old.
Yeah,
but my bourbon was aged in Kentucky Fried Chicken barrels.
Well,
So I want to caveat one thing before we go. So, and I'm not trying to toot my own horn. I was graciously allowed to do blind tasting for the Texas Whiskey Festival. Now, it's not a great thing. Let me tell you that. So hold on. It was a great thing. Don't get me wrong.
It was a great thing.
It was a great thing, but
I'm so confused.
What hurt my heart? Hold on. What hurt my heart was the category for malt. And here is my cheat sheet right here. You can't see it because it's not coming out yet. There was only 5 malt whiskeys. I said malt whiskeys.
Not single
malt. It was
malt.
only not single malt. One of them was not a single malt. And I can tell you, we know and love the winner. That's all I'm going to say. But then on cask finishing, now this is not a flavored whiskey. This is just a finished whiskey. There was quite a few. There was a page and a half, right? Everything from bourbons to ryes to, ASMs, whatever. It really goes to show me, especially, and this is talking just from my heart, as much as I want American single malt to grow and turn into this juggernaut, especially Texas American single malt needs a lot of work. And we need to get out of the shadow of Kentucky and in the bourbon category, because we're so, like, there was almost 30 different bourbons in the category, right? When malt is 5, that doesn't line up to me. Like, Texas should be strong in the malt category because we have great breweries around here. We have people doing amazing things. And the people that are making good American single malt in Texas are doing it well. They know what they're doing. But it's like everybody else says this is a secondary thing we do, which to me, that just downgrades the whole thing. And then one of them does a 60% malt, which, okay, it's a malt whiskey. I get that. But they had to put it in there because if they wouldn't, it wouldn't have even been a freaking category.
Oh, they have to have 5 minimum?
They have to have 5 minimum for it to be a category. So to me, it's like, yes, we are expanding and American single malt is doing great. But like, holy crap, we need to like get some people out there producing really good American single malt and teaching these other distilleries that this isn't just a side project that you do when you have leftover grain. This is something that can turn into something magical and win awards all over the world. Like, why are we not showcasing that? But yet we're pigeon-toed in this bourbon category, which, don't get me wrong, I love a good bourbon, but we're pigeon-toed in this bourbon world to where American Single Malt is just kind of
secondary.
The redheaded, not even the redheaded stepchild. It's the stepchild that lives in the cupboard under the stairs. You know what I mean? Like, it's not a good one.
I think for me,
remind me, what grains grow well in Texas?
All of them.
It's not barley. Barley does not.
Parts. You do
barley up north.
Grow.
Yeah, they grow barley up north
really
in the high plains up around Amarillo. There's a lot of barley. Corn grows well here. Rye is pretty good. It's a hardier crop, but it's a different type of rye than a lot of people use. So
because most rye comes from the cold north.
It does. Yeah. So that's a hardier rye, so it is a little bit different. And I guess that's why the bourbons around here are so different than a lot of the other ones if they're using natural grain. But the malt that I know, and I can only speak for Andalusia because I've been there so many times, they get all theirs from up north Texas, and it has a diastatic power of like 180, so it has a really high attenuating malt, and it's just really good. And the way that they process it, and it's just, I feel it competes with a lot of these other big name distilleries that are trying to do it. But the issue is people don't put so much, I don't know, they don't put a lot of thought into it. They're just like, yeah, it's a thing that we do.
So, okay, I know about diastatic power as
we got
a
nerdy
concept.
for a second there.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, but like,
no,
assuming our listeners are, so like, as nerdy as I am, I don't actually have a good sense of how high 180 is as a diastatic power. What's
180 is pretty high. Like the highest
corn is like 30.
Yeah, corn is 30. So, and if you malt corn, because you've heard of malted corn, right? It has a diastatic power of like 28. It can't even convert itself.
Right. That's why there's always the 5% or 4% malted barley in a bourbon.
Right. Yeah. Right.
So that it can do the thing, or enzymes, or both.
And so like when you get a 6-row barley from the brew shop or wherever these distillers get it from, normally it has a diastatic power of right around 200, depending upon the strain you get. And it normally takes about 45 to convert the barley grain, and then it has all that extra power to convert everything else that's going on in it. That's why barley is used in like 13%, 12%, just enough there to convert everything that's around. So so for Texas being able to get that high in its diastatic power is pretty good, because our soil can be anywhere from sandy loam to hard caliche base that you're not going to get anything to grow in. So the ability to get some good fertile soil, especially up north, more towards the Panhandle and stuff like that, you're able to find some really good soil up there to grow barley and grapes and all kinds of stuff. They grow all kinds of stuff up there. So
yeah. So
cool.
History and science. I mean, come on, guys.
Agriculture.
Agriculture. Like, come
That's
on.
The way
what
to
other
end an
show
episode.
are you going to get?
That is the way to end an episode right there.
Yeah, absolutely.
I will say this to add to what you were talking about. My feelings are, I have always found that American single malt whiskeys, from people that set out to create American single malt whiskeys, first and foremost, have always been far better.
Yeah.
Whether it be
100%.
Westland, whether it be Del Bach, whether it be Santa Fe Spirits, whether it be, Black Road Distilling on Black Road, Travis County, some state over here that, makes 14 bottles a year, right? If they set out to make American single malt, that is going to be a far better product than I want to be a distillery. I'm going to make all these vodkas with 700 different flavors. I'm going to make gin. I'm going to make bourbon because bourbon is such a cool thing, but I'm just going to buy
what
that
sells
somewhere. Right.
Yeah.
And then I'm going to throw in a single malt in there because I've heard some rumblings about this over here.
Check a box, bring in the single malt nerds who aren't nerdy enough to know.
So I've always felt that, and experience has told me, if they're setting out to make American single malt, they're the ones to pay attention to. They're making great products.
Yep.
That's
And
the
every once in a
American single
while,
malt to chase after.
asterisk, every once in a while you have a distillery like Seven Caves where the distiller is just a genius, and like, yes, he wants to make what's going to sell, but more importantly, he wants to make what's going to be what he thinks is cool.
Yeah.
Well,
And he's
right.
not going to make anything he doesn't think he can do really well. So when he randomly occasionally puts out a single malt, it's like fantastic stuff.
Yeah.
So that happens
and
too.
that's more of an artistry thing to the distiller than it is.
Right.
They're a big business. They're trying to make a big business. He's
Mhm.
just having some fun with a still, right? He
Right.
just happened to spend the money to get the licensing and all that stuff.
Right.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Because I can guarantee you, there's guys out there right now
He
making
moved to a
single
bigger
malt on a
location.
still that nobody know about, the government doesn't know about, they ain't paying taxes on, and it's probably some of the best stuff you're ever going to have. I can guarantee it. But the fact of the matter is, it costs a lot of money in order to be able to put that into a bottle legitimately and sell it.
Yes.
It does.
So
So whenever I occasionally think, maybe I should do a career pivot and look into what it would take to run a distillery, I go, nope.
yeah, if you ever
That
look
ain't it.
into it, it's high. If any of you guys are at home watching this and are getting the inkling to start a distillery, it's extremely expensive.
Do
I'm
your
not
due
even-
diligence, but
I'm
just
not
know
even
that
kidding when I say extremely. It's extremely expensive. We're
Yeah.
talking.
I've
a
looked
million.
into it.
It's a
I've
million.
looked into it. Yeah, it's $1 million for sure. It's $250,000. And this is in Texas. $250,000 just to get your DSP. And then you have to have
non-refundable.
non-refundable.
Which you may not even get it.
Right. And then it's offsite premise, nothing from your house. And there has to be a bonded warehouse. The distillery has to have a tasting room. It has to have a tasting room, even though you're not making product to sell to people yet. There's so many legality things. By the time you're done with it, you're looking at 750 to $1 million.
Not to mention the lawyer you need to decipher all
the
the
lawyer, and then every cola approval for every stupid moonshine you're making and everything just to pay the bills. And then your still costs and all the other things. Don't ask me how I know. I might have looked into it once.
or 3 times.
Or 3
still
times.
Looking at it just
This
for
Yeah.
fun. No,
this
he was
week.
looking at it.
Just saying, whatever.
definitely, and more to your point earlier, Germ, the distilleries that set out to make American single malt, some of them have like only ever released an American single malt. Like,
Right.
They just,
But
then
that's
you
what
have,
their passion is, and you can feel
Yeah.
the passion in the bottle, right? Like you
yeah,
can feel the passion.
and
in the
then you
bottle.
have occasionally, right, like Copperworks, real expensive location there in Seattle, in the very near Pike Place Market. They only have, what they've done is only distill 100% malted barley, which I think is
Right.
super cool. But along the way to releasing American single malt whiskey, they also released gin and vodka, which were 100% made from 100% malted barley.
But they're making it,
But they're making it. They are making it, not sourcing it.
and
Ever since
I'm
day one.
whole really really cool with that, because whiskey you cannot make today and sell tomorrow. Doesn't work.
Right.
Right.
But you
Gin,
got to
you
keep
can
the
make
lights
it
on.
today and sell it tomorrow.
Right.
Vodka, you can make it today and sell it tomorrow. They're making it though. That's the problem. That's the beauty of it right there. They're
Yeah.
making the products.
My
And
point
I
was
will
along the
tell
lines
you,
of find
if
you a
anybody
distillery
likes gin,
that makes it, that wants to make American single malt and just happens to make other products along the and you might
Copperworks
find those
gin,
other products are actually like really top-notch products
Yeah.
too, because the amount of
Copperworks
care
gin
and
is top-notch.
expertise,
It's excellent stuff.
Yeah.
Excellent
the amount of
stuff.
care and expertise that has to go into making American single malt is just going to make you a better distiller.
Mhm.
Yes. Absolutely. 100%.
All
Now,
right.
people are going to debate me on that. Bourbon Bros are going to come at me in the comments, but I stand by.
Hey, they
can come at
got too much creatine in their veins. They're fine.
Yeah.
They can't step
But-
to this.
Yeah.
too much oak.
This might be one
All
of our
right.
longest ones. I think we should wrap it up.
No.
We are wrapping it up. Hour 53. Gentlemen,
What did you guys pour anything after our first stuff? I ended up pouring this
I did the
this Revenant
Quintessential.
Oak. This is the
Oh, the
Kitsap Whiskey
Kitsap.
Society.
Oh, that one is so good.
It is.
I poured the Starlight 10-year.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
That is one that I
Nice.
haven't had, and
I
I want it.
Okay, well, I'll send you a sample of it, but because when I first tried
Same.
it, I didn't
Also
care
here.
for it. Oh, no, okay. I didn't care for it when I first opened it. I was like, it's okay. But now that I'm sitting with it, I'm like, it's not bad for a 10-year-old age-stated product. It's fairly good. So
Excellent.
we'll see.
Yeah, I poured my second one was the regular Quintessential 92.
Quint, there you
Since
go.
we were talking about it, and then I've been finishing up with very local distillery to me, this Copper Crow.
Okay,
They made an American single malt. So
sweet.
Cool. Is that one of the box checkers, or is it actually good stuff?
it is, I would say it's in between. It
All
is
right.
good. It's
Fair
a
enough.
good product. I would love to see this with another 2 years on it, and I would love to see this with a mix of new and used oak.
Yeah.
Sweet.
So my
It's
number
solely
2
new. So
along the way I poured some portside because this was my runner up for a whiskey I haven't had in a while that I wanted to revisit.
There you go.
And we were talking about Quintessential anyways.
Yeah, why not?
perfect. But I think that wraps it up for this episode.
I think it does.
we
That's an
I think we
episode.
should wrap it up.
Yeah.
All right,
You did it.
guys.
guys.
The blind sample showdown coming down to the end. I got 3 shows left. I got 1 to find the last of the finalists, and then the final show. So we are getting down to the end on that.
So
Doug,
2
I
shows
think
Who's
you got
who's
some
left?
cool stuff.
Tell us the results of the previous show, or maybe
Okay.
don't spoil it. But who's in the brackets right now in the round of 8
The bracket right
or the
now
round of 4?
is the final 4 was Caitlin Bartlemay, Bourbon Vixen, Valerie, Phil, the Rangers Respite, and Whiskey Deke. So we have the Rangers Respite moved on. He is in the final. So spoiler
Congrats, Phil.
alert, but go watch the shows.
Absolutely.
You know,
Phil did a great job.
this week we got the battle of the ladies. So this is the first time I've had a lady in the final. So I'm super stoked about that. I love
Amen.
that. And either one could take this. I don't know which
Right.
way it's going to
And
go.
no matter who wins, there's a lady in the final.
Right,
Because they're both
correct.
ladies, in case that needed to be spelled out.
And so I'm super stoked about that. I think that's going to be really fun. Maybe they'll throw Phil off their game. Who knows?
Okay, Doug, what do you have coming up?
It's been, I don't know about you guys, Randall, maybe you can relate. It's been a weird year for scheduling.
Oh, don't even get me started, bro.
Pretty much, like I have had, I think like 8 or so distilleries that like sent me product and then kind of just went off the radar for a bit. That's never happened to me before. I feel like that's a milestone as a podcaster where like people are just like, yeah, sure, take the free stuff, and then just
Take
like
free
stop
stuff
talking.
and peace out. Yeah.
So like the short answer is I'm not sure. I've got my recording with Kitsap Whiskey Society is going to be coming out. It's recorded.
Yeah.
I might edit it because we tried a thing where my Patreon, I opened it up to callers in. So so we had Patrick on and he asked some questions directly to Colby, and that was fun. I don't think it needs editing, but I'm gonna listen back and just make sure. Like he's better on air than he thinks he is, and it's not his first time. Patrick, I mean, Colby's been doing this a while.
Yeah, he's an old hat.
We are supposed to have Stranahan's at some point, and we're supposed to have Burnt Church Solace. Burnt Church come on to talk about Solus. For some reason, we just have not been able to confirm a date for Solus, and Stranahan's is
tough.
Big corporate, right? It's a bit of a tough nut to crack.
It is.
And we're trying to get ourselves really organized before we fully engage on that particular thing. And I've had a rough year, so organized has not been the name of the game over here on this side of the table.
Yeah, your focus on this is off.
Yeah, and that's fine. Focus where it needs to go.
Yeah,
and this will be there when you get back. And that's part of it. It's like
you got to know that
your listeners will be there, and they're going to be waiting with bated breath for the next episode, and that's all we can ask for, really.
Yeah, we've done okay. I mean, when I looked at not to throw Bourbon with Friends under the bus, but when I looked at the feed on Bourbon with Friends and was like, oh, they've had like 3-month gaps a couple of times or 4-month gaps a couple of times. I think the longest I've gone without releasing an episode was 4 weeks or 5 weeks.
Yeah,
that's okay. I took a summer break. I had a
And-
baby.
and-
and took a break.
You had a
we started this one with the actual once a month. That's what
Yeah.
that was our spit right off the bat.
And we are having a hard time, guys. Like, we are literally having a hard time getting together. We are at the end of the month, and we are like, we got to turn and burn this one to get it out for the month. So
Yeah.
y'all need to
And
understand
so
that.
apologize
month
for the
already.
2-hour
Holy
long
crap.
episode. We
Yeah.
didn't have enough time to be organized enough to do a shorter one.
But we actually did have stuff to talk about this time.
Yeah, we did.
And I
We did.
think I think for before we cut this out, the next time you see us, I think we're going to introduce a new segment. I think we're going to introduce the 2 good, 1 bad, or 2
Okay.
bad, 1
Yeah.
good. Whichever way it works out, we'll talk about that later. But one
Depends
of
on how many
us is
brands we
going
wanna
to
throw under the bus.
send samples to the other 2, 2 of which we think are good, 1 of which we think is bad, and we're going to see how that goes for the other 2 people. And
Okay.
I think that could be really fun.
Yep.
Yeah. Should we
So-
order the solo blind? Should we all get solo blind sets so we can? No, they're going to. The person sending the samples. is
No,
doing blind.
we'll send them blind. Yeah,
Yeah.
We'll send them blind. So, but
Have you guys seen that thing? That little
yes.
gadget, the solo
Yeah.
blind ship.
Yeah,
It's
pretty
neat.
cool.
It's neat,
It's pretty cool.
right? It is neat.
I haven't looked at what it costs.
It's still
but
your
I'm not
own
sure.
collection. You
Yeah.
still poured the 3 whiskeys, so you know what the
Yeah.
3 are.
Yeah.
So
Semi.
if you're smart and you want to win, you just pour 3 very different whiskeys that you know,
Yeah.
and you're like, okay, well, here we go.
I won.
Yeah.
I won.
But if you get someone else to pour it from you from a collection the size of the collections we have, it's okay.
Mhm.
That's gonna. I think that's gonna work out pretty well.
Yeah.
yeah,
absolutely.
for sure.
Now, if you're somebody who has 20 bottles, I don't think you're gonna fool yourself too hard
Probably not.
ever.
Usually
no
not.
matter
If
what.
you, especially if you
That's-
know 'em.
That smells like gin. Wow, who would
Yeah.
have thought?
Dude, I did have some really good gin the other day.
Yeah.
But that's a topic for a different show.
Absolutely.
And until next time,
Let's get out of
guys,
here.
keep your spirits up.
Rip them and sip
Rip them
'em.
and sip them.
I like. Is that
see
your
you in the
usual sign off,
lodge.
or can we just take? Can we do rip them and sip them? Can that be
Yes,
our sign off?
No, that's our thing.
Yeah, rip them.
I
Okay,
made-
fine. I'm good with rip 'em.
All right, that's gonna be our thing then.
All right, we got it. There we
Rip 'em and
it,
sip 'em.
it only took 6 episodes to figure out our outro. All right, guys. Here we go. All right.
Love
Until
y'all.
next time, guys. Love y'all. Drink some
Peace.
American Single Malt, rip them and sip them, and
Whatever.
see you in a month.